Welcome back to Talkin Joes for episode 3. Gavin Stark alongside Eli Halverson, giving you all the Joes information from this past week. And Eli, you got anything to really say to get things started here?
We're heading into the halfway point, and I mean, last week I feel like when we ended the episode, it was pretty hopeful, looking forward to this week, and unfortunately, didn't really deliver the way we thought it would. But still a lot of
Right.
ball left in the year. So
Oh yeah. We're at the halfway point of the year already, which is unbelievable. I was looking at that today. I was like 21 games in. And we're sitting just below the 500 mark now, sadly. But this is we're still in the same position really as we were last week. We're still second in the South, and into all it's really in all of our hands, in the Joes' hands, not anyone else's, but the Joes here as they head into a big
right,
July, a huge July.
I think that's a good point. Like, obviously, I wouldn't say it's been a disappointment so far, but it's definitely been somewhat underwhelming. But I do. It's you got to remember all it takes is like a couple good series, and you're right back in first place. It's not like
Dude,
you're competing
exactly.
with 32 other teams. You're only competing with really three teams in your division. You just got to beat three other teams. And disappointing series to end it this weekend. And at the end of the day, all that disappointment, all those close losses, you're 2.5 back. Like,
Right.
still so much leeway for a team
So
that
much.
still has a way higher ceiling than I think
Yeah,
the product that's on the field right now.
couldn't agree with you more there. This is a team who we still think personally, and you think can be the best team in the entire league. And I still
100%.
say that after a brutal week that they just went through to end off the month of June. Uh, I mean, things weren't great, obviously. But if you look at some bright spots before we head into talking about the two series this week, I want to talk about the hitting. I think hitting wasn't awful. It wasn't a bad thing.
Mhm.
We'll talk about it in a little bit, but we've seen Miguel Correa, a guy who struggled with the bat earlier so far in the season, hits a two-run bomb down there in Muskegon, and I think those things are stuff that you got to look at and build off of. You got a guy like Jackson Wang, he's really still feeling it at the plate. Um, all these guys are really hitting the ball pretty well. There's not a guy that's really in a dramatic slump right now. Also, Christopher Roja, can't not mention him when you talk about guys getting it going at the plate. These guys are all starting to feel really well at the plate. So I think when you've got some of your best players really playing like the best players on your ball club, it can go a long way. So I really think there's a lot to build off of still, even though you only got 2 wins out of 6 games this week.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think that's something like I think it's just you got to find both. Like before last week, I would say pitching was definitely kind of been our strength. We've got a ton of like top notch arms. And then
Mhm.
this week, I think you had a lot of games where if you just seal the game in the ninth with the pitching, I think the game's over. If you don't even just walk batters, put them on base, the game's over. And I think one of the things we talked about, you brought up Christopher Roja. I think we talked about him last week as someone who probably needs to start heating up more. 316 last week, 7 walks too, working the pitch count, 5 stolen bases, OPS over 800. Like he's starting to heat up. And then yeah, Jackson Wang, OPS over near 1300 last week. I mean, that's just ridiculous. And I wrote a little article today with him. It was just a like a midseason check-in, and I mean, you look at the stats. Jackson Wang, third in the league in hits. I think he's third in the league in average too. I mean, one of the best players in the league, and he's proven that, especially over this week. It's just the close losses, man. This is just not the week for the pitching staff, unfortunately.
Yeah, a lot of tough, close losses weren't any games where the Joes were just blown out. This hasn't been a team that's really been dominated much all season, and they definitely weren't dominated this week at all as well. Because they're these two series that we're about to get talking about are both just brutal series losses that you just can't have happen at the midway point of your season. But I think it's all part of the story for this Joes team. But with that being said, get started on talking about this Muskegon series. So last time we talked to you guys and we met, we were talking about how the Joes had a huge series that they were going to travel to the next day up in Muskegon. They were going to do their first night stay, and we talked about how it could maybe be harder for this team because it's the first time that they're staying overnight in a hotel together, and a lot of adjustment things. You're not just traveling the 2 hours like normal in the GLSCL. You're going up 6 hours north and you're staying in a hotel together and getting ready for two more games after the first game. after a long drive. So game one, Devin Mullins gets the start. I haven't seen him get any starts prior to that start that he got. But he goes 2 innings, only giving up 2 runs on only 2 hits. Really, it wasn't a terrible performance by any means by Devin Mullins. Wish you would have seen him go a little bit longer, maybe than 2 innings out of your starter. You never want to see him just go two. But honestly, 2 solid innings from Devin Mullins. You can't really complain there. But then the star of this game one was Marchioso. Unbelievable. Comes up, toes the rubber for the first time of the season. We've seen him. We know he's a two-way guy, and he's finally really proved it that he can throw on the bump any given day for this Joe's team. He goes 5 2/3, only allowing 2 hits with 6 strikeouts. Unbelievable stuff. Eli from Marchioso, who's been a stud out in the outfield, mostly playing center field for this Joe's team, and also pretty decent bat for this team. But the Red Hawks towed the rubber for the first time, and he had unbelievable stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think before that outing, he had only logged about 2 or 3 innings on the year. Then he
Right.
comes out five and 2/3 shutout innings, 2 hits, 6 strikeouts. I mean, that two-way player, like I think we talked about this in the booth last weekend. Like you almost wonder, why don't you have him go hit and pitch in the same game? Like let's see him do both in the same game.
Why
Because
not?
I mean,
Why not? It's summer
he's been
baseball.
a little cold at the plate recently, granted, but at the same time, like 1.08 ERA. He's given up 1 run on the season. Like, I think I speak for all of us when we say we want to see this guy pitch and hit in the same game. Like, you got Shohei Ohtani Jr. here. Like, let's put him to good use. I
Let's
think,
do it.
and even just in general, I think he should be pitching more. Like, I mean, 1.08 ERA. He's only got 8 innings logged on the year. Like, I
And
think
this
I
is
want to see more of Marchioso on the mound and at the plate. Let's see him do both.
like this is a kid that's also young in his collegiate career. It's not like he's solidified his role at Miami either. This is a guy who could be a pitcher for this Red Hawks team
Right.
moving forward into the spring for them over Oxford. So like you can't really solidify his role on this summer baseball team either. I mean that's not really fair to him and his development as a player. I mean he's playing center field for this Joe's team this summer and doing a really good job out in center field, but you can't limit him from only getting a few innings this season. I think he's got to get some more innings moving forward. At the halfway point, he's only logged about 7 innings, give or take, on this season so far. I want to see that almost double within the
And
next couple of weeks.
I would agree, and I feel like where we keep talking about the halfway point, this is the turning point. Like I almost feel like this is the part of the season where now like the roles should probably be established on this team. Like we know who the go-to guys are, and I think Marchioso has separated himself in terms of that pitching staff, and I think he's got to be one of those go-to guys. He's not Michael Bilo, he's not probably even Dale Ellis, but I think he's someone, especially if we're talking about Brower, if his innings are going to start getting limited, like Marchioso's got to be someone who's got to see more innings. I think
Yeah.
when you
And you
turn to the
bring
second.
and you bring us up into the end of this game talking about Carson Brower. He came in and closed the door for the Joes, doing what Carson Brower does. Carson Brower things. He's been brilliant all season so far for the Joes, and they wrap up game one with a 5-2 win, and then they stay the night up in Muskegon, and they would go into a doubleheader on Wednesday, and Jordan Taylor got the nod for game two, game number one of this doubleheader, and he gives a great 5 innings, really. But sadly, Jordan Taylor not the story of this ball game. The bullpen struggles for the Joes, and they lose a back and forth game, really 6-3. Just couldn't keep up with the Clippers in game two.
Yeah. I mean, just two brutal homers at the end of the game. I mean, you're right there. And I feel like obviously that we'll get to it later, but this is kind of the theme of the week is you get there, you get to the late innings, you give yourself a chance and just ultimately can't close it out. And can't I mean, we turned to some of our better pitchers. I mean, we went to Justin Hovel, who's been kind of one of our better relievers on the year and just couldn't get it done. And
Yeah,
it's just tough. It's just a really tough spot. And yeah, Jordan Taylor. Jordan Taylor's quietly having a really nice season for
I
Hamilton. I
I
mean,
totally agree. Like
2.31 ERA in 11 innings. He's only got 7 strikeouts. He's not going to be a huge strikeout guy, but he gets guys out. And at the end of the
he
day, I
finds
think
he finds the
finds ways to
zone.
get people.
He
Yeah, finds,
finds
and that's been the problem with the Joe's
yeah.
pitching. It's not like we're giving up outside of this game. Granted, we give up two run homers in this game, but I think this game's kind of been the outlier. I think in general, the problem has been walks, wild pitches, hit by pitches, errors, like very controllable things. And I think Jordan Taylor is someone, obviously, you can't control errors, but he's been someone that limits the very controllable things that a pitcher can limit.
Yep. So Jordan Taylor, a guy that we'll probably continue to talk more and more about as we uh, dive into more of this season for the Joes. July, a big month, and Jordan Taylor looking to deliver another big month for the Joes moving forward. But game three got us ready for a rubber match, and Muskegon and Dale Ellis, a guy who you're always be confident with when he's towing the rubber, goes 5 innings, giving up 2 unearned runs. I mean, he does some Dale Ellis things. You expect this guy to go 5 innings pretty much every start that he gets. I mean, and he does it again. So he does his job for this Joe's team, and you got things going for it. Correa hit the 2-run bomb in the third. I mean, unbelievable right there. That's huge. Just hearing that is Miguel Correa really getting a big bomb like that. A guy who we know at Thomas More this season batted at unbelievable numbers. I don't know his exact numbers. I don't have them pulled up right now, but he was the best batter on the Thomas More team as a freshman, and now he's going to go up to Central Michigan and play there in the fall. And this is a guy we know can be one of the best hitters on this Joe's team, and he's starting to get things rolling, batting nearly 300 now when he was in the low 200s for a while in the month of June.
Mm-hmm.
But he hit that 2-run bomb, and I think you're going to see more of that moving forward. Huge.
Yeah, I mean, 9 RBIs driven in this week for Miguel Correa. And I think very key hitting, like when he comes up with runners in scoring position, a lot of the times he won, obviously, 2-run bomb. You love to see that. But a lot of his RBIs are coming from sac flies, RBI putouts, like just putting the ball in play, getting those runs in. And I mean, yeah, just he's such a good ball player. I mean, he really just has been such a good ball player for the Joes. 2 homers this week, or 2 homers in the last 4 games. I think they were both this week. But
Yeah.
Miguel, I mean, he's been just one of the more consistent guys in the lineup. He's really getting it going. And like you said, Dale Ellis just doing what he does. 2 runs, both of them unearned, errors behind him, can't control him. I think that's something that's also kind of plagued the Joes all year. And again, just losing it late. That's kind of just been the backbreaker, losing it late as it's happened kind of all week and all season, really. I mean,
Yeah.
I wrote about it in my piece earlier today with the midseason check-in. Games decided by 2 runs or less were 0-5. Hamilton's 0-5 in those games. Have not won a 1-run game or less yet this season. I think. I'm pretty sure I looked at all the games correctly, but I'm pretty sure we have not won one of those games yet this year. So it just been tough sledding, but yes, to your point, Ellis and Correa have been absolutely outstanding.
But the Clippers do steal game three and the series. They take it 3-2 in this game three and game two of the doubleheader, and they take that series, and really a series that me and you had circled as needed Joe's win for one, and one that they should go get. It could have been a trip where you go up there and dominate Muskegon and come back really with a lot of momentum heading into a huge Xenia series. But then that's not how things went, really, and that's baseball. And that Joe's team knows that, and they stepped into game one in Hamilton Friday against Xenia, and they look like the best team in the league, like we think they are. They dominate game one. Xenia arm struggles to really just throw strikes. That's the end of the story. They walk in a lot of our batters, and what do the Joes do? They take advantage of it. They do what good baseball teams do. They do what a good baseball club does, and they take advantage of it. Take advantage of their base runners. And when the Joes can get on base, it's a scary sight because these guys are some of the best base runners. I mean, you got guys like Aiden Coffey, Christopher Roja, Jackson Wang, Nowak. I mean, all these guys are so speedy and can just steal second in a heartbeat, steal third in a heartbeat. Uh, and they did that. That's really what the story of this game was. They dominated 11-2, and we were sitting in the press box thinking this game could have been over in 7. It was very close. So, but Xenia got a little scrappy 2 runs late in the game, but this was a dominant win from the Joes and a really good start to the weekend in this big series for the Joes.
Yeah, and I think this game was almost like a kind of a microcosm of what makes the Joes, when the Joes are playing well, what makes them successful. Really good starting pitching, Michael Bilo. I think it's
Right.
pretty safe to say. I'm not sure if there's a Cy Young Award or pitcher of the year award in the GLSCL, but if there was, like there's no one else you can give it to other than Michael Bilo.
It has to be him. He's been
He's been
brilliant.
so lights out this season. Oh, 0.87 ERA on the year. Just
It's like
absolutely
video game
literally
numbers.
ridiculous. He's playing on rookie mode. Like it's
Yeah.
actually ridiculous numbers. He delivers, and then the aggressive base running, like you said, 8 stolen bases, I believe, in the
Mhm.
Friday night win. 8 stolen bases. Aiden Coffey had a few. He stole home on that
He
double
stole
steal.
home, right? Yeah, he
Roja
stole
got
home.
second. He got home. Like that's what makes the Joes great. Getting on base now. Granted, they were given a lot of free passes from the scouts,
Hmm.
a lot of wild pitching. But at the same time, I think you can make the argument that they kind of created the environment for the wild pitching by having that aggressive base running, good at bats. And
Hmm.
yeah, that's what makes the Joes great when they're doing things like that. Only 5 hits and they got 11 runs, taking advantage of some scouts' mistakes and making good aggressive plays on the base paths.
And from what I've seen so far in this season, is that's an Aaron Brill win right there. That's the type of way Aaron Brill likes to win is off of base running and getting things going with the base running. We've seen it time and time again, and everything clicked Friday night, and it was the Joe's night, and they dominated 11-2. And then me and you were looking at each other and everybody else in that press box like, there's the turning point. All right, here we go. We've sat in this press box before, and it felt like here we go. And this was another one of those feelings. Anyways, like you were saying, you can't talk about game one without talking about Michael Bilo, probably the best pitcher in the Great Lakes Summer Collegiate League. Super great kid out of George Mason. I mean, he's been brilliant, and you just gotta expect great things every time he is on the mound, really. But game two, the Joes travel to Xenia and lose a tough one in Xenia. Charlie Dira, who just committed to UC, played his freshman year at Miami, puts together a
Yeah, it's
good start for the Joes, but Joes losing a heartbreaker 6-5 and continue to struggle in these close games. Just like at the beginning of the week, just like the week prior, just like the week prior to that, they're struggling in
yeah,
these close games. Like it's every time these losses they're not getting blown out. This isn't a team that's gonna not compete in the baseball game and lose. It's just
yeah.
it's not who they are. This is a team that's gonna fight to the end, but they come up short a lot of these times, and
It it
moving on.
really is just like watching the same movie on repeat. It's unbelievable. And it's the same mistakes. Like you look at game two, it is three, I believe now, 3-3. The Joes take a 5-3 lead. Travis Yankovic, of all people, delivering one of his biggest swings of the season. 2-run single gives you a 5-3 lead hanging in the bottom of the ninth. You're like, all right, this is the time where you're going to deliver. You're finally going to finish it. And not only do you not finish it off, but to do it the way it happened with just, I mean, 0 hits for the Scouts in that bottom inning, all walks and hit by pitches. That's all they had to do. They just had to stand there with the bat on their shoulder. And it just is like, man, I don't know if you're familiar. I'm a Nebraska football fan. 2021 Nebraska football went 0-9 in one possession games, finished 3-9. In the 3 games they won by 50. We ended up finishing with a positive point differential on the season and went 3-9. And you have to feel like, oh, dude, let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go. Go Big
my
Red. Dude.
my
How
dad is
about that?
from Nebraska.
Go Big Red. My dad's
Yeah,
from Omaha. That's awesome.
my dad's
So
from
you
Lincoln.
know what I'm talking about then. The
I
2021 season
mean,
where
I'm not a huge Nebraska fan. I root for him because my dad's a big fan. But yes, my dad watches a lot of Nebraska football, and I've seen this Nebraska team. Yeah, I've seen it.
it's unbelievable. And you see the talent, you see the flashes. I
Hmm.
think the Joes are a little better than Nebraska football. I'm not going to go there. I think we're at a
Yeah,
higher level than that. We've won championships, but you can't help but compare them because the close losses are really just backbreaking, and they've got to be like demotivating to a sense. Like, what do we have to do to get one of these games finished? Like, man, I mean, Deer absolutely delivered, probably his best pitching performance of the year, and just couldn't finish it
right.
off.
No, I mean, yeah, Darius has looked good in all his starts so far in the season for the Joes. Not a lot. I think you're going to start seeing him more and more though. And Charlie
I
Dira,
would agree. I
just
would agree.
maybe you see like we were saying, he's got a lot of good stuff out of Cubcast in Northern Kentucky, and I really like what I've seen so far from Charlie Dira. Definitely not uh, the loss. Definitely not his fault. That's for sure. I mean, he looked really good, and it's just really another thing where the Joes handed a win almost. they just needed a win to Xenia. I mean, that's
And I mean,
the story.
yeah, literally just the free passes are. I mean, it's unbelievable, and it's really hard to even think about like how this team is at 500 because we have legitimately five really good starting pitchers. You have Bilo, Dale Ellis, Dean Brown, Jordan Taylor, Deeruff. Nobody's ERA is over 3.29. And it's like hard to even wrap your head around how this team is 10 and 11
Right?
when you consistently are getting high level starting pitching every game.
It's
Every
unreal.
game.
It's like you know exactly what's going to happen in every game. You're going to get
Yeah.
solid starting. These guys probably the Joe start is probably going to go 4 or 5 innings, give or take. And then if you're still in the ball game with this Joe's team after those 5 innings, you have a good shot. That's what the rest of this league's pretty much thinking at this point with the way
Yep.
all these games have gone. And a month into this season, halfway through, that's how they've all gone. If you can last with the Joes for 5 innings and get through their starting pitching, you have a really good shot. And that needs to change, and it needs to change now because you're at the halfway point, and it's not you're not sitting here with we can adjust and take things slow. Like it's a quick season, and quickly you can be at 20 losses if you don't get things
Right.
changed now. You're at 11 right now, and I believe it's the first time they're under 500, and you're at 10 and 11, just under 500. Let's get things rolling, and relieving pitching needs to really settle in, and these bats are starting to get going. So I mean, things are all pointing in the right direction to start closing out these games, and I think this Joe's team can go on a streak.
I mean, for sure. I mean, do you talk about all the bright side? Like this team's right there. I don't have run differential on my sheet right now, but I have to imagine if you look at run differential, it would not surprise me if the Joes are like plus 10 or higher in run differential this year. And I would imagine we're near the top of the league in run differential because all these losses are just super close losses. I think we've gotten run ruled maybe one time this year. Pretty much every game has been competitive, but I think you said it perfectly. If you're in a team on the other side of the dugout from the Joes, it's basically let's get through their starters and then hopefully hang around, stay within a couple runs, and then we'll be right there at the finish and probably win it.
Yeah. Um.
Still a lot of
but,
season left to
yeah.
turn that around.
Game three is a thriller in Xenia. The rubber match on a Sunday night in the Great Lakes Summer Collegiate League. You can't ask for more out of two of the best teams in the South Division. But the Joes lose in ultimate tiebreaker fashion for the second time this season. They lose 8-8 in ultimate tiebreaker and heartbreaking fashion once again, like back-to-back games losing heartbreakers, and it's just been the story of the week really and the season. But you really tied around this week is heartbreaking. That's really it. If you were to, I mean, you're a journalist, I'm a journalist. I think if we were to caption just how the whole entire week went, if we were to, a whole recap of both series, it'd say heartbreak.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
mean,
it really just hurts because you leave the week 2-4, but you feel like the way the games went, you very, very easily could have been 5-1. Like it was so
absolutely.
every all four of those losses were right there. I believe the Joes had the lead in all four games that they lost. All
Yeah.
four games they at one point had the lead and couldn't finish out. And I mean, you're obviously not going to win every single close game, but you would like to think that there would be a regression to the mean eventually, and eventually you're going to win some of these, but just have not been able to get the coin flips to land in your direction.
Right.
Despite another great outing from Carson Brower, the people at the plate, I mean, the batters absolutely delivered 7 runs through the first 4 innings. Kind of got shut down a little bit late, but just man, I feel like you just really haven't been able to get a consistent game. Good starting pitching, good relief pitching, and hitting innings 1 through 9. It just hasn't been able to quite put it all together so far through 21 games.
To all you listeners out there, if you guys want to get a reading of the recap of the first season, check out Eli's summary on HalversonJoes.com. He just posted that today, I believe, and good read. It really gives you a quick rundown of the first half of the season, so give that a read for sure. But moving forward, got a busy week, really. A lot of the home games start now for the Joes in July. You get two home games now and one away, and the one home, two away now. So from here moving forward, Joes will be two home, one away in each series. They'll take on the Mariners, who they started the season against, and now start on Tuesday right here in Hamilton. They'll take on the Grand Lake Mariners in a series where the Joes did win and started off the season hot. They won the first game of the season 16-5 in Grand Lake. I was there, and a team that I haven't seen the team hit that well since then. Really, the bats were on fire that night, and I mean, you hope to see some more of that in this series really moving forward. But what's the key, Eli, for the Joes to start the week off hot and get a big series win against Grand Lake?
I mean, I think you said it better. I think we got to hit. I think hitting's definitely going to be the key. Kind of picked up a little bit this week, and I think the pitching at the end of the day, I think with this Joe's roster, while last week may not have been the greatest pitching week in the world, I think you have to imagine the pitching for the most part is pretty solid on this team.
Yeah,
So I think it's ultimately going to come down to can we score enough runs to win games? And I don't think it's going to have to be a huge number. I think you're just going to have to get a few runs. And I think you saw that in the first series against the Mariners. Scoring runs is going to win those games. And I also wonder when you turn the calendar to July, having those series flip and have the advantage of having more home games now, I think that could be a really huge advantage for the Joes, not having to go on the road as much. Outside, you do have to go to Michigan for the Monarchs series, but having more of those home games rather than having to play two on the road or even three on the road in some circumstances, I think could be a really huge help compared to having to go on the road like you did a lot of the time in June.
couldn't agree more. I mean, it's a team where they can't really say they're a home team really because you haven't seen it much, but a team
Mhm.
that definitely thrives through the Hamilton fan base and crowd. I mean, you definitely see some more joy in the Joe's dugout really in these home games. And like we talked about it last episode, this traveling can get to these young athletes really mental side of the game and really just make them feel a little different, feel out of the comfortable zone. And that's really important in the game of baseball, really. So I
Yeah,
think
you. I think it's kind of an underrated thing, especially when you're playing every single day. Like going on the road, like it's one thing I think when you're traveling for different sports, when you're playing baseball and you're traveling and playing every day, like you don't really get a break, especially in this summer. Like you get one off day a week, and the rest of that, like it's a grind for sure, especially when you're going on the road that much.
agreed. But yeah, like I agree with Eli though. If we're talking about how this team can beat a Grand Lake team who they are, probably better than if you really uh, are just being brutally honest. I mean, they won the series earlier, and I earlier in the season. I expect them to do that again this week. But I mean, it's baseball, and in the Great Lakes Summer Collegiate League, all these teams can beat any team any given night. Um, and you saw that in Muskegon where we thought that the Joes could really get a sweep if they played their best baseball, and instead they went to Muskegon, got game one, and I remember thinking to myself back home, like, all right, here we go, win these two games
Yep.
tomorrow, finish it up, and then they hand the two games over to Muskegon
Yeah.
on the next day and lose the series. I mean, just that quickly things can happen, and then Xenia, you dominate Friday, and then all of a sudden you get to Saturday, you losing a heartbreaker, and then it's like, all right, well, we're winning this series. There's no way. Come on. And then Sunday you lose an ultimate tiebreaker. That's a series right
Yep.
there where the Joes scored more runs in total than Xenia, and they ended up losing two of the three games. That's not the first time that's happened either.
No, it's not. And I think when you look at these two series, like you look at the standings, Scouts have a 2.5 lead. And then you look at the Mariners and the Copperheads, which are the next two series we have. And four of those 6 games total are at home. 2 out of the 3 in both series are at home. I mean, we said it last week. If you're the Joes, you've got the Scouts in the top, the Mariners and the Copperheads in the bottom. You've got to establish yourself as in that top tier with the Scouts. You've got to take the series from the Mariners, got to take the series from the Copperheads, or else at the end of the day, you're kind of falling back into that bottom tier of the South. If you drop, definitely if you drop both, maybe even if you drop one, I think this is a really crucial week. Definitely the biggest week of the season so far for Hamilton.
We're going to continue to say biggest week so far, and it's true because the season goes by so quick. This isn't the MLB where you can start off and have a bad month or have a bad June and then still get things going at some point. No, you got to get things going right now. Like it's do or die right now for the Joes team as we enter July. And, you know, yeah, that's really how you got to put it.
I
Let's,
mean,
let's go
yeah,
now.
this
Now we
this
go.
is essentially September of the MLB season. Like we are entering
Okay.
September. It is like you said, do or die. I mean, you drop this series, if you go 3-3 in these series, you only have one, two, you got five more series the rest of the year, 15 more games. That's it. Like that's it. It's really got to turn around now, or else you're going to be sitting at the end of the year just wishing you had a lot of those close games back, sitting at home.
Great. And I do want to talk about some important things, not confirmed by me or you. We don't have a confirmed source on this really, but we do think that Carson Brower's season is over now after this weekend had ended. Um, just an unbelievable arm that he was in for the Joes team in June. One of the only returners from this season last year, but it looks like he was on a inning count really. I think maybe something like that. I'm not sure, but it seems like his season's over now. Yeah, I mean that's gonna hurt too. That's your best relieving arm, uh, really, and you're gonna lose him. So you gotta figure out some ways because this is a bullpen that struggled already in the season, and you're losing probably your best relieving arm as well. So
Yeah, I
what are
mean,
you gonna do with
this
that?
one certainly hurts. This one certainly hurts, especially when you're entering this point of the year. I mean, Brower, we've talked about all the time, both on here and in the press box. Like, he's the go-to guy. He's the guy Aaron Brill turns to in the game when it's close, when you need someone to shut the other team down. You go to Brower. He's third in the league in strikeouts. I mean, he's that guy, and there's a void now. Someone's going to have to step up and fill that void, whether it's Marchioso, Matty Helms, maybe Justin Hovel.
Brendan
Someone's going to
Mullen.
have to step in. Brennan Mullen, yep, that's another great one. Like someone's going to have to be that go-to guy, and maybe we'll see over this week if someone can emerge and take that spot.
Yep. Um, Eli, you got really anything to wrap up everything here before we sign off for this episode?
No, I mean I was gonna plug my article. You already did, so you already got the plug in there. So yeah, go read that, and hopefully the Joes can get 4 or 5 wins this week and get back on track for the playoffs.
I'll just talk about some bright sides really quickly to wrap things up. I mean, on the bright side of things, hitting, like we talked about during this episode, it's getting better. You got certain guys that are starting to really feel it at the plate, like Christopher Roja and Miguel Correa and others. I mean, that you got guys like that playing really well. Friday night, Christopher Roja looked brilliant at shortstop. He's kind of struggled a little bit in the field so far in the season, and you see him get plugged in the infield and then plugged in the outfield wherever they can just put him. He's really utility guy for this Joe team, but he looked brilliant at shortstop. So I think that's a really good bright side. If this guy can just express his talent every single night for this Joe team and be the best player that I think he is, then and that's going to go a long ways in July for the team. So that's a really big bright side. Obviously, the bullpen struggled a little bit in a few games this week, but I think overall starting pitching just keeps getting better and better. You get more reliable starters every single day, it feels like. And yeah, I mean, that's really what I've got. Um, big, big, big week for this Joe's team, and I can't wait to see uh, what's really in store. Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Alrighty.
I feel like we've said it every week, broken record. But like it literally is. This is the week. I mean, if you don't turn around this week, it's really going to be like you're going to have to win 70-80% of your games. So, got to get after it this week. Hopefully, get some wins at Foundation Field.
Yep. Alrighty, that'll sign us off for episode 3 of Talkin Joes. Gavin Stark. Signing off, Eli Halverson as well. We appreciate you guys for listening. We'll be back next Monday night for episode 4, and hopefully we're talking about 2 series wins for the Joes. That being said, thanks for listening to Talkin Joes.